here. Woohoo! Finally. Big thank you to Chris over at Aqua Home in Leyland, in the northwest of England. If you're ever passing, it is a brilliant aquarium. Pop in, have a look around. We've got some great livestock in there. He was good enough to deliver this and give me a hand up the stairs. If you ever see this, Chris, apologies for nearly breaking your back on the way up there, mate. So yeah, the Red Sea Reefer 250. Let's have a look at what we've got in here. Dun, 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 dun. You have a look at my door. Oh yes, that's packaging. This thing, by the way, weighs a ton. So we've got the sump there, register, which we will be doing, lid, all the piping, the tubing, everything really to get you set up with the marine tank. For the res, and the large box containing the sump, and then we have another box containing the cabinet. So don't worry, I'm not going to be that guy that does an entire video of me building a cabinet. If you want that, you can go watch an IKEA video. So yeah, I'm going to get cracking with the cab, and then we can get cracking with getting this bad boy out and filled with water. Fantastic. I shall be back soon. Okay, so tank is now largely built. I've still got a door to put on, but I'm just putting everything in the cabinet first. I need to get the power mounted, and I need to get the controllers for the pumps installed as well. I've actually not got enough water, so the reason I'm part filling it now is so I can go nip out to the aquarium and get some more. I was kind of hoping that when they delivered the tank, they'd be able to get some water to me as well, but unfortunately everybody had used the canister, so they hadn't received them back and didn't have enough for me. So as it is, filling up with the 50 litres I've got now, then I'm going to the local aquarium and get some more. I'm actually running the siphon from the 25 litre down into the return section and letting the pump it up into the tank, where my glamorous assistant, aka the wife, is holding just a jug, letting the water from the return into the jug and just letting it trickle down the back of the back of the wall there. And as you can see, it's filling the tank up nice and slowly with minimal disturbance of the sandbed. So that should mean we get I'm able to get some water in here and start getting it heating. I'm going to put the heater in the main tank for this evening to get it warmed up, rather than have it in the sump. Obviously the livestock's probably not going to go in there until tomorrow, but I do have that. Oh, it's terrible reflections. I do have, you can see it there, a little Zoa frag which I don't want out of the water for too long, because that's actually on a clam, funnily enough. So this is some of the rock that I got yesterday, and of course there's the other bits of rock that are going to need to go in as well. So I've not completely finished aquascaping just yet, but I'm just about to run out of water, so I'm going to carry on. See you in a bit. This is a glass of wine. I'm going to drink this because I bloody well deserve it. We're done, sort of, just about, nearly. It was a lot of rigmarole in the end, kind of out of my control really. When the tank was delivered, I was banking on the aquarium having enough containers to be able to provide me with 250 litres of either pre-salted or RO water, but unfortunately most of the containers were on loan and hadn't been returned. So that was the first spanner in the works. I only have two 25 litre containers and a couple of 10 litres, so used what water I had remaining from the previous tank, and headed off down to the local aquarium, which is about, it's not too far, it's only a couple of miles down the road, so it's not too bad, with the intention of asking them if they would basically loan me the containers, as you would at an aquarium. You pay the deposit on the containers, you buy the water, you take the containers back, you get your deposit back. And the law of sod states that whenever you want something, it's not there, and they'd also run out of containers. So, given the nature of what I had to do, I had to buy 2 25 litre pre-salt mix, which promptly went straight into the tank. Started the warming process. I went back to the aquarium, got another 2, and they went, yeah, that's the last of that. So head banging against wall at this point, came back, put the pre-salt into the tank, went back, got another 2 RO, and that was about it for that night. That was last night. Mixed up the RO with salt, and then was basically put it in the tank and started the warming process. There wasn't a great deal else I could do. The tank was only about it was probably about 75% full, the tank itself, but obviously the sump area, which I'll show you in a second, wasn't at all full. So first thing this morning, I had to head off into Liverpool, take my glamorous assistant to run an errand to get some of her crafting stuff, at which point we made the journey back via Aquahome, where I picked up another 50 litres of RO, and filled up the 2 10 litre ones as well whilst I was there. Got back and promptly ran out of bloody salt. Yeah, I know. Prior preparation prevents a poor performance, and there was no prior preparation. So had to rush off back to the local aquarium, grab some salt, and all they had was, well, the best value and the best sort of quality that they had was Sea Chem. I know it's not de rigueur to go mixing salt, but given the circumstances and the need to expedite the change from the old tank, which I'll mention in a moment, it had to be done. So the livestock's in, everything's in the tank now. The tank's running at about 27.5 degrees, and everything seems okay. Everything seems fairly happy. Emmett and Lucy, my clownfish, are back together. The reason I say back together is because it's 6 o'clock this morning, or stupid o'clock as I like to call it. I was having a lovely dream. I won't say what about, but I was roused from my slumber by a lot of splashing and banging, at which point I heard which any aquarist knows is the sound of a fish landing on carpet. Jumped out of bed to see my goby lying on the floor next to the bedroom door. How he'd managed to get through the lid, I have no idea. So yeah, you know, the goby, the fish that likes to spend almost its entire life floating around the bottom of the tank, sifting sand, had managed to chuck itself out at the top. Yeah, more sod again. Anyway, he was fished back up, he was put back in the tank, he was okay. And then the wife went, where's the clown? And Lucy, the big one there, was missing. Panic few seconds looking around the floor, and eventually found her in the sump. She was actually in the pump area, the return pump, and it's quite, I won't say it's very tight, but obviously it's not a tank by any stretch of the imagination. So I had a look at trying to fish her out, but the position that the tank was in, excuse the mess here, she almost went out of the back there, and if that's a full tank, 65 litres on top of a big oak set of drawers, if she'd have dropped behind there, well, she would have been a goner, and that would have been the end of that. So I left her in there till this afternoon, figuring that she wasn't really going to go anywhere. So they had a bit of a moment. Emmett was missing her. He was very sullen and just hanging around at the top of the tank, not looking very happy about it. But there you go. What can you do? So anyway, eventually everything pretty much came to fruition, and here we are now. Tank is in, all the live rock is in. No, it's not a final scape. Actually, I had to get a couple of pieces out. Just basically trying to get the livestock in and trying to do it quickly. Obviously, the goby and the lobster don't really like being out in the open much, so I didn't want to stress them out too much, given the fact that we're moving tanks again within 24 hours. So yeah, I just kind of chucked some of the rock in. I'll rescape that when I get a chance. Down at the bottom in the sump area, just a temporary light fixture there, but we've got the Omega C5. There's a bit of carbon in there, just a piece of rock that I didn't really have anywhere to fit. A nice shiny new Vecton 300 UV, and all my other crap. Got the controllers there for the pump and one of the return fans, and basically in there will be going a dosing pump at some point. Quite a tidy little system. I do like it. I do like it. It's a lot less messy than my previous sump, which basically was a bit of a mess, truth be told. So, but then most sumps are meant to be messy. But it's very quiet. Loving this tank. Got to be said. You do know it's a lot of money to buy this tank. Nobody's denying that. But you know, you do know where your money goes. You know, soft closing hinges. Just a really nice smooth effect. The cabinet was a breeze to put together. That took just over an hour to put together. The tank is just crystal. It's a beautiful tank. I think 250 litres. When I looked at it, I was putting the tank, when I was putting the base together, sorry, I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, I do kind of wish I'd gone for the bigger one now. But now that it's in, yeah, 250 litres, more than enough. Certainly for me, at any rate. But yeah, the hiccups weren't over today, by the way. You may notice I've just got the rather paltry Aqua 1. It's just it's not a bad LED light, but obviously it's nowhere near what we want for this tank. I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to. Oh look! Oh, my reef lobster making a brief and rare appearance. Yeah, sorry. I was kind of hoping that I might get away with using the light from the previous tank. It's 165 watt full spectrum LED, and great light for the price. I think it cost me about 60 quid, which is nothing for LED lights for a tank, is it? I mean, let's face it. But yeah, when I put the light over the tank just to do a quick test, there were dead spots, as there are here, but you can see pretty much where the light comes sort of down at an angle there and there, but massive dead spots in these areas here and over here. So whilst we were at Aqua Home, they actually have a loyalty zoo, which is called. It's basically a loyalty scheme for if you buy stuff from them, which I think is a good idea. It's basically 1 point for a pound spent. I can't remember the exact figures, but basically if you get up to 1,000 points, you get £70 worth of in-store credit. There are incremental values in between, of course. You don't have to go and spend all your money just to try and get 70 quid off, but at the end of the day, if you're buying a load of stuff, then 70 quid is better than a kick in the face with a golf shoe, isn't it? As it was, I'd already purchased a test kit from them the other week in preparation for this, and then of course banging the tank on top was another 759 points. That put me up to about 813 points. So whilst we were in there today just looking around, my glamorous assistant, aka wife, whom I love so much, decided that we needed a a nice shiny new V2 Luminaire 900 light to go over the tank, because basically we didn't want to be hanging the light from the ceiling. I just don't trust that kind of setup personally. It doesn't really take much, and you've got a LED light sitting at the bottom of your tank with a dead fish under it. So yeah, as I say, the hiccups didn't stop there though, because we got home. Obviously the first thing I did was start to put the tank together. Bit of a struggle getting the Vecton UV in, because of just basically the tightness of those cables. As you can see, there's a very small section there. It caused a bit of a leak at one point, but that's all taken care of now, so that's all running neatly. So by the time I got all that done and came to actually take this beautiful piece of kit out of the box, it had gone 5 o'clock, and of course, law of sod striking as it does, there was no power supply in the box. So obviously tried to call the aquarium, but it's Sunday, they'd shut, so I was stuck basically. So I'll give them a call tomorrow. No doubt they'll either be able to replace it or provide me with something in the meantime. So yeah, at the moment that's just going to have to kind of sit at the side of the tank there, waiting for when I can use it. There were also 2 brackets missing to mount it on either side of the tank, so we'll have to go back and get those tomorrow. Speaking of which, you'll notice that we have the net cover slightly done, and you'll probably notice that it is done wrong, for want of a better term. It's actually designed this way, or rather we've designed it this way, primarily because I don't have MP10s or anything like that. It's the RW4, the J-bow, so obviously you've got a wire coming out the back, and this thing really doesn't give you much. But if you actually reverse these, so this groove here should be on this side of the net, basically should be on this side of the tank on the inside. So if you reverse it, it kind of leaves this little gap where you can just fit some nice wires through neatly. And it's resting on a little piece of plastic which I've stuck on there with some silicone, which unfortunately the weight of the light knocked this one off, so that one needs to be replaced shortly. Excuse me. So so yeah, that's basically where we stand at the moment. All the livestock's in, everything seems happy. I'm going to leave it overnight. I will do all the necessary tests tomorrow, check for things like nitrite, ammonia, make sure the pH is right. Usually you can get a good indication that something's wrong when there's any other, zoom in a bit, that's sulking at the moment because that's not been in the tank very long, but basically if there's any doing that, you kind of know something's wrong. It's usually temperature or something like that, but there's always having a bit of a sulk. They have been open, so they're just starting to wake up as well. The mushrooms, well, their mushrooms are like the SS of corals, aren't they? They'll live anywhere. And of course we've still got the GSP here, which no doubt will sulk for quite a few days, and I'm hoping that my final denizen of the tank is going to be in here. There was a sea hare in the other tank. The only problem with the sea hare was that he only came out at night. He only ever ate algae off the back wall. It was always gone by morning, and I did not have a Scooby where the bugger lived. I'm hoping that he's living in one of the larger pieces of rock there or there, and he's going to make an appearance at some point, because I know that when those things perish, they can release some rather nasty stuff into your tank. Okay, very quick video. Apologies for the flash, but just for the record, we have a sea hare. Hopefully, now that he's on the rock, he'll clear off everything. Oh, happy days. Morning YouTube. Well, first night in the tank, everything seems to have gone okay. I don't have any dead fish, I don't have any dead cooks, so yeah, I call that a success for now. Jobs for today: replace the light, get the tank lid cleaned up a bit and fitted properly, and then do some base tests, calcium, mag, the usual stuff, see what figures we're getting, and go from there. In a couple of days I'll do more tests to see what is being used by the tank. Bear in mind there isn't a great deal in there at the moment apart from the livestock and a bit of Anyhoos, some leathers, GSP. Everything's still in sulk mode at the moment. The Zoas have gone back in. The GSP is, well, unfortunately still, sorry but I can't really see the reflections up there. Close that door. The GSP is yes, covered in algae, unfortunately. As you saw from the little video in between, the sea hare is alive and well. He's in there somewhere. I'm guessing he must be in one of the rocks. I'm not entirely sure where. He was last seen mooching around here, and I'm guessing that little clean patch right there may well be his handiwork, but I say he, could be a she, I don't know these things, do I? But either way, didn't really go anywhere near, you know, the algae that seems to be resting on some of these rocks and the GSP, which would be an ideal situation, but we'll give him a few days to settle in and see where he goes. I've got the Xenia, it's currently sat under the RW4, and that's on pulse mode at the moment, so that's not having a good time, which isn't a problem. I mean, there's just so much of this stuff I'd really like it to just die off, to be quite frank. Maintaining proper stable conditions should ensure that it grows in a controlled manner rather than the way that it did in the previous tank, which is just everywhere. As you can see, it kind of spreads once it branches out. I mean, it's not too bad. It's you know, if you've got the time and inclination, you can remove it from the base rock, attach it to some live rubble, and frag it off. I mean, people do like this stuff. It can be pretty. It's nice to watch, you know, when it's not in any flow, and its petals, its fronds are just opening and closing. It's quite pretty, but once it starts to encroach on other corals, this leather here seems to be quite enjoying the conditions. That's opening up quite nicely. That the last time any of the Xenia got near that leather, the leather pretty much ate it. So yeah, I think they're maintaining a respectful distance from one another now. Still got a few bits of rock to move around. I moved this piece of rock from, it was situated up here, but unfortunately the mushrooms don't really like flow, at least not too much of it. You don't want them you know, detaching from the rock and getting into a power head, and before you know it, you've got bits of mushroom floating around the tank. So yeah, there we go. That's the status update for now. Once I've got the light power supply and the brackets, I'll get the light fitted and do another quick sort of end result. The launching of good ship Red Sea Reefer 250. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, I'm calling it done. Apart from the aforementioned slight change in the landscaping, it's pretty much complete. The light fixture is now in place. The Luminaire V900. Very cool looking light. It's got some nice features. A storm feature which will probably never be used apart from when guests come round, but it does cycle through sunrise to sunset, which is pretty cool. I'll have to see how that feature goes and see how the livestock and the corals respond to that setting. As I say, everybody's happy, everybody's swimming around. I do need to get the lid sorted out. I'm not having a tank with no lid. As for everybody else, He's pretty much hiding at the moment. The cleaner shrimp is sulking away down the back. I think everybody's having a bit of a sulk apart from the two clones. I have a reef lobster somewhere in that cave up there, and my goby, oh no, sorry, I tell a lie, my reef lobster has moved. It would seem he is now currently, if you can just make out his one of his pincers. I'm not sure that my goby is going to be too chuffed with that, because this little sort of pile here was what he was digging out yesterday, trying to make himself a new home. I haven't actually seen him today. I know he's in the tank somewhere, but quite where exactly I'm not too sure. So yeah, that's basically where we're up to. Sea has been out. He only comes out at night. The zoas immediately seem to be reacting to that light, which is good, because they were all very closed up 5 minutes ago. So yeah, the next step really is a case of doing the necessary tests this evening, monitor everything over the next few days and see what gets used in the tank by the corals that are currently in there and by how much, and that should give me an indication of whether or not I need to add any supplements, and if so, by what level. So yeah, overall I'm absolutely over the moon with this tank. It's a beautiful piece of kit, it has to be said. And yeah, I think I made the right choice overall. Not necessarily the cheapest, but looking at my bank balance, but hey, we're not in this hobby for that, are we really? Okay, so quick morning shot of the tank. Just thought I'd detail the testing that I did last night, just to give you an idea of how things have gone in. Did all the major tests, and everything is pretty much spot on. Some minor hiccups, but basically we've got about 440 calcium. Alkalinity is 11.5, I think it's 1.024, a little lower, but I prefer it 1.026 personally. Temp was down as well, so I turned the heater up a bit. I may need to add another small heater just to supplement that. pH is 8.4, spot on, and yeah, everything else really is within the parameters that you look for really in a reef tank. I also dosed a bit of phytoplankton, and I seeded the tank with amphipods before I put the livestock in. Let the pods get in and work their way into the rocks, so that they could have a chance to survive and breed, because obviously the plan is, well, maybe not obviously, but the plan is to get a mandarin at some point. That is a definite for the tank, but obviously you've got to let the tank mature, and with all the extra live rock and everything, and I'm going to give it another few months yet before you look to that sort of fish. Although you can get them, they've been raised on tank food and they will eat frozen, so that may also be an option, but I would prefer one that feeds naturally rather than frozen. But yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. I think probably the next step is another goby pistol shrimp combination. My wife's really wanting one of those now. Although knowing our luck, they'll probably head to the back of the tank and make a home somewhere we can't really see them. So either way, yeah, that's the tank for now. So that's week one basically. Next week I'll do another set of tests, see what's been used, and we'll go from there. Okay, if you're not put off too much by the tones of my voice and my crap narration, by all means give us a like, and feel free to comment as you see fit. Thank you for watching.